And we're back once again, only on its last call. Last call at the alcohol, only on the last call YouTube channel slash rumblechannel.com. And well, joining me here, he was missing for a couple weeks. He promised me secrecy. He was training for a big, a fight, a big mega fight, a hot dog eating contest this coming Friday. Unfortunately, as he said, I realized I can't lose my girl's figure, so he had to come back. That's right. I give you once again the man with the largest natural arms in the world, and still a size 10. I give you the war dog himself, Kevin Apollo. So, Kevin, let's start off here with, all right. I'm now having technical difficulties.
Oh, we got Night of Champions, or what?
Yes. There we go. Okay. So, yes, we'll start off here with Goldberg is back, whether you wanted it or not. Some people did, some people didn't. He's back.
I love Goldberg, so I can't complain.
I worry about this. I mean, he's 50 friggin' 8 years old, Kevin. What's next? We got to bring, are we going to dust off Shawn Michaels? How about
Well,
Bret Hart? No, you know what? Ric Flair. Have Ric Flair come in.
oh,
He can put the figure four leg lock on Pat McAfee, die in the ring, and then we can go, hey,
well,
watch
listen,
the huge show.
we Bullet Bob Armstrong was wrestling up until his final days, and he looked, for his age, he looked great. I think it just depends on the athlete, right? Like, I was talking to my wife about this. I had watched, I was watching Hogan Rock, and then it occurred to me that Hogan was probably the same age as Cena was during Cena Punk. And although Hogan looked phenomenal, right? Like you can't deny the Hulkster's physique. He at his age is not, or I should say, was not the athlete that Cena was in that match. And it just depends on the person. Like Goldberg looks great, always looks great. The only time where you start to see the signs of age with Goldberg was during his feud with Lashley. His legs look a little small, and generally, when a man's legs start to look small, that means the man is about to age. Because we have to maintain the size in our legs in order to stay active. It's just a weird physical thing. It's just basic biology, but I'm sure Goldberg has put in a lot of work. I listen. We know we're not going to get a long, drawn out, Gone with the Wind esque epic. This is probably going to be, 5 to 10 minutes, 15 if the entrances go long, and we're just gonna get right to it. Listen, I'm excited. Goldberg was just a special competitor, right? He just was. Even when he took all that time off and came back and faced Brock, there's just something special about Goldberg. I'm just happy that the WWE realized it, during those returns. They treat him like he should be treated. It, I'm one of those. I don't know which way I want this match to go. I could very easily see them just putting this belt back on Gunther, just so that Goldberg could take it off of him, and then they could do some kind of four-way at SummerSlam, so you can get this back to Jey Uso. The I, or I could see just Gunther just going over clean and sending Goldberg out in a Shield. It can go either way. I personally, I don't think Goldberg needs to win the title, but I also don't think Goldberg should be going out in a Shield either. I think there's a way to tell this story, and give everybody a satisfying ending that ends Goldberg's story. But we'll see which way it goes.
I see. To me, that's my problem. Is that every year it's like, okay, we're gonna focus on the younger guys. We're gonna focus on the guys who are here, and this. Okay, look, last year it was like, okay, yeah, The Rock's back for a little bit, but hey, it's The Rock, and he draws big money, and he is part owner of a company, so it's like, okay, you swallow it, you go, all right, hey, it's great for business. And this year, John Cena, and while I don't like his heel turn, we'll get to that later. It's still okay. It's best for business. It's Cena. Now it's Goldberg. I mean, at what point do we go? No more part timers. No more bring these guys in. Let's actually focus on Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre. Let's get elevate Damian Priest, Braun Breaker. The guys who are there, and we're trying to get them over before
Hmm.
next thing we know. Oh yeah, Cena's gone, Cody's gone for a movie picture, Roman's gone. It's like, oh crap, who do we have left?
Well, it's they have done a good job of elevating a lot of younger talent. And at the end of the day, I mean, when you go back and look through all the territories, or let's keep it let's keep it a little tighter. When you get the cable TV era, the older guys have always been around. The older guys have always been involved in storylines. It's a special attraction. You need to give space in between throwing the main participants on the show at each other, because there's only but so many match types you can get out of them. Everybody kind of forgets, like, we had that weird period in time where, after I want to say what, from like 2014 to what, 2014 to like, or maybe even 2012, from 2012 to like 2017, where we knew 50% of the feuds. It was just going to be, it's going to be these guys going to wrestle an actual 15 to 20 times. And during that 15 to 20 times, if there's a belt, it may bounce back and forth 3 times, and all of a sudden it's going to stop. And it doesn't make for very compelling TV. The older guys, especially the bigger names, they hit a phase in their career where they become a special attraction. Nostalgia is real. Nostalgia sells tickets. Yes, putting Goldberg's name in a marquee is going to move a bunch of tickets. The and their name comes with special elevation properties, right? Gunther is a phenomenal champion. Gunther is a made man, but if Gunther defeats Goldberg, Gunther is a guy who beat Goldberg. He's one of the few who beat Goldberg. The Even if he doesn't, just being in the ring with Goldberg, this picture right here, when you put this up, when you put this up in a program, or on home video slide, it automatically elevates Gunther's presence. This is an instance where being in the ring with somebody is giving someone the rub. There aren't a lot of guys who can do that. And that's why you leverage folks like a Goldberg, who you dust them off, you bring them out, they still get massive pops. And win, lose, or draw, they got you over. They got you over, and it adds more luster, more equity to your name. That's the main reason why you see some older names come back. It's not like everybody gets to come back, right? Like, it's if you're in Vegas, probably you'll get a quick comedy spot with The Godfather. But guess what? The Godfather was a guy who was out there getting Austin level pops. It's like that random time when RVD and Kane fought the Road Warriors, right? Because it was the freaking Road Warriors. It's even look at PCO. Like PCO is, for all intents and purposes, 1,000 years old, but the guy's over as hell, and people still run on bump for him. It's we're at a stage now in wrestling, and especially in modern athletics. Wrestling is a little different, and it benefits the most from this era of knowing the science behind the training, and adding longevity to your life, where age for the most part is a number until you get to a certain number. But it's perfectly viable that, hey, a 58-year-old man who is jacked and looks better than the average 20 something is going to walk in there and whoop someone's ass, because it's just, that's life. That's life. The old man dad strength is a thing.
He's 58 years old. I mean,
Hmm.
this is also my other worry here, and I know where he's like, oh, he's in phenomenal shape. He has a body of better than some 20-something-year-olds. Are we forgetting, the Undertaker match where it's like, oh crap, he nearly killed the Undertaker, or some of his matches even with Roman Reigns, where it's like, oh my god, he's old. I mean, and this was 2 or 4 years ago. It's not like you're gonna get quicker, faster. He's already said, yeah, I've gotten injured during my training here. Like, are you running a risk of him like sort of getting a coronary during the match because hey, look, he's 58 years old. I mean, eventually, Father Time goes, yeah, you can't do this. You're crazy. I don't even care how much you know supplements you put into your body, Rock. You are not 40. You are in your 50s. 50-year-old men do not do this without having serious, health problems.
Well, he's in a different boat than The Rock, right? Like, listen, it's I don't think it's I think The Rock having the audacity to pretend that he's natural is insulting to anybody with an ounce of common sense. The
Hey, he's natural, Kevin. It's
oh,
naturally expensive.
it's right. The Rock with his traveling team of doctors, the to make sure that he's bigger now than he was when he was 35. It's tremendous, but the I guess I say Goldberg versus Lawler, right? Lawler, like anything can happen. There's always warning signs. It's not you're not necessarily you're going to catch them, but the WWE medical team and medical program is amongst the best in the world. They look for everything because they don't want Jerry Lawler incident happening on TV again. They don't want a preventable death like Eddie Guerrero's happening on their watch again. The they're very aggressive about your care. They don't want brain issues resulting in a horrific tragedy like he who shall not be named, happening on their watch again. So if they were worried about it, this match wouldn't be happening. Again, we laughed and talked about Bret Hart, but the reality of it is that Bret Hart would have had another match. Bret Hart cannot be insured for another match, which is why when it came time for that WrestleMania, and the WWE went to go get insurance for him, Lloyd's in London said no, absolutely not. He is not going to be medically cleared to do anything. And they had to go be in Canada where the rules are a little bit different. And Brett gave you some awesome house show moments and memories that you'll only see if you can find the footage online from someone's cell phone. The Goldberg coming out here and wrestling the Saturday's main event is a radically different thing. He's been vetted up and down. He got injured, which is why the match took a little bit longer than it was to happen. And guess what? That's what happens when you get a little older. It is what it is. But if he wasn't in a state of recovery, they wouldn't be doing this. And yeah, fine, Father Time it always goes undefeated. There's always someone a bit stronger. There's always someone a bit faster. There's always someone a little bit clever. But that's the hook of the story here. It's that this unstoppable force who used to be able to lift, 500-pound giants over his head, and spear jackhammered his way to multiple championships. The fire breathing dragon. Does he still have it? Does he still have one more miracle left in him, or has his time passed? Right, because the young upstart called him out, insulted him, denigrated him, been dragging him for 2 years. And he finally got fed up, and he wants to stand up for himself. So this is the old warrior standing up to the new bully villain. It's a story as old as time, uh, and the average fan is not caring that the average 58-year-old who would jump in the ring and have a coronary. It's Bill Goldberg and wrestlers in general are not the average 58-year-old. They're just not. And this isn't like UFC where your brain is being moved around in your head, even during a basic light contact sparring session. It's a different animal. Your fitness needs are a little different. It's still punishing on your body, but it does it in a way where we're fine. Will Goldberg probably wake up Sunday sore? Yes, 110%. When he was younger, he would have been sore on Sunday and fine on Monday. He will probably wake up sore on Sunday and be sore on Thursday. That's gonna be the big difference for him here. On that, the man is a cardiovascular beast. We've seen his kind of training. The man is still a muscle dense beast, which means he can take the punishment. Um, And again, like I said earlier, man, we had people like Snooker before he lost his, got ravaged by dementia. Guys like Nikolai, like these really old, Demolition. He's got these old guys running around out here. And they're still, not bumping often, but they're still bumping. They're still bumping, and they're fine. It's things happen, but it isn't that great a danger where I think the IWC is a little ageist in the sense of they keep thinking about modern wrestlers like how we looked at, dude. You look at Prince of Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo looked like he was in his 50s when he was in his 30s. He already couldn't walk, way overweight. That's just not the case with this modern breed of wrestler. It's just not.
Should they have done Cena versus Goldberg instead? I mean, because it seems the guy who's getting screwed out of this is Jey Uso, is now sort of in sort of limbo. They got to wait for this whole thing to blow off. Meanwhile, you had Jey win the title. He gets title defenses where he needs help to win, then loses to Gunther again. I mean, would it have just been best for Goldberg to come out, challenge Cena? We get a dream match we never saw, and Jey Uso doesn't get sort of screwed in this whole ordeal.
Yeah, I would say this was weird. I know they really wanted to do this Goldberg Gunther thing, and they probably would have gotten to it sooner. But the how we did this a little weird. I don't think they should have done Cena Goldberg. Yes, it is a dream match that never happened. But there's a reason for that. I know people aren't crazy about heel John Cena, but I think John Cena over the last couple of weeks has really ratcheted it up and has made the character a lot more intriguing than what it has been, especially now with the stink of WrestleMania and the what about the Rock part seems to be, it seems to have finally left the room. I think Cena's doing some phenomenal promo work, and his body has reacclimated to the rigors of the ring. The But I don't think I think you get more out of CM Punk and Cena than you get out of Goldberg and Cena. The CM Punk Cena thing is like Superman versus Lex Luthor. So for hardcore WWE fans, especially the age of the Cena of the of the Cena kid now, the Cena kid is, in their very late teens to mid, to early 30s. So revisiting that's your nostalgia button, to the nth degree. That's the audience you need to be chasing. Cena Goldberg, it would have been cool to see, but it wouldn't have had the same energy, that enthusiasm on it that Cena Punk would have gotten. And it should have been something that we should have seen 20 years ago, but they never did it for obvious reasons.
Speaking of Cena and Punk and Cody, we go to it's happening again. We're on the march to SummerSlam. Cody versus Cena. Now the new news here. Cody Rhodes is going to be cast as Colonel Guile in the new Street Fighter movie. Which, oh, by the way, the Roman's in it also, and Jason Momoa is in it, and Andrew Koji is in it. I mean, there are some big names, so it's not like this
It'd
is
be a
going to
big
be one of
deal.
those
Mhm.
1 month. Oh yeah, away and shooting the movie. It's going to probably take some time. So what's the plan going forward here? I mean, could we expect sort of shenanigans where Cody wins, but oh, that dastardly Seth Rollins, cashes in, takes the title, and we're allowed to get maybe Cody to go away for a couple more months so we can shoot this movie.
Yeah, man. Listen, I personally, the Night of Champions match with Cena Punk was phenomenal, right? But the one thing I kept saying is the Cena Punk match should have been happening at SummerSlam. I get it. There was a lot of synergy with the pipe bomb era, but if Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, um, John Cena is Mr. SummerSlam. So we should have been throwing these two guys at each other. That's because we're never going to get the WrestleMania match. So this should have been the SummerSlam match. I still think Cody and Cena shouldn't have been happening until Survivor Series. The although I don't know when Survivor Series is supposed to, or is on the cards for this year, if it's going to be
It's
later.
all the way in like November, so we're pushing it here.
Yeah. But that would have given you the space because what's going to happen? It's you only got one or two endings, right? Cody takes the belt off of Cena, but now Cena's still on TV for quite a while. So what's the hook here? Like the the threat of John Cena ruining wrestling is that the longer he holds the title, the more likely it is that his plan comes to fruition. So we already know he's not dropping this belt in August when he's here until December. So doing you're gonna have to do some kind of screwy fuck finish to stop Cody from getting the belt, but have Cody still come out on top, but still also put Cody in a position where he should have an element of sympathy so that we can do Cody Cena 3. But the ending needs to be really damn good if I'm going to want to have to see Cody Cena 3. Then the hook of Cena Punk was that when you looked at their record against each other, essentially they were 500. Right? They essentially they split their encounters down the middle, and Cena and we know Cena never beat Punk when it really mattered in terms of their feuds. So there was an element of hyper drama there, for the people who keep the records. Right now, Cena Cody, it's the mentor mentee dynamic is much more pronounced with Cody and Randy than it is with Cody and Cena. The I don't know, man. I don't know why. I don't know. To me personally, I just don't think this is a match that they should have gone with right away. And like you said too, now Jey Uso is still kind of the odd man out. You could have Cody never got his rematch, so I don't know why Cody needed to win King of the Ring to get the rematch. I don't know if this is something that Hunter's officially done away with, where the champion doesn't get an automatic rematch, but Cody did not need to win King of the Ring to get his rematch. Really, if anything, it should have been Jey Uso to win King of the Ring because I don't know. I guess they both kind of got Bret Harted right though, right? I guess when you think about it, they both kind of got Bret Harted and their first major title win, and they both could have used the King of the Ring to kind of reboot, their legacy as a main eventer. But this is also why I also think that King of the Ring really does need to go back to being at the very least the semifinals and the finals as opposed to just the finals. The one night tournament was way cooler than what we're getting now. It's kind of effing lame. It doesn't have the same, it doesn't carry the same weight as watching your favorite wrestler have to fight three different people to find out who the king of the castle is.
Well, I want to
Um,
throw this out there because I threw it out to Alt Jake of Jake's Takes and Phil Marks. Just get rid of a King of Ring. Rename it Eddie Guerrero Tournament. It's, you honor a guy who almost every wrestler right now in the company has been either a fan of, was either, a mentor, a mentoree of, or an inspiration of. Nobody wants to wear that damn crown or a scepter or the robe. I mean, Cody and Gunther are horrible kings of the ring when you consider they wanted no part of it. Like, oh yeah, there's a crown, yeah, hey, and then it's like
well,
they throw it
they're-
in a little tin bin. Like, get rid of it and just name it the Eddie Guerrero Tournament. Then you can say it's the best wrestler, and then it gives you like, all right, we're elevating a guy to either superstardom or to the next level, and to have this goofiness, which they're trying to get away from.
it's they'll never do it because it's a legacy brand, right? And we've had some phenomenal kings, right? King Harley Race was awesome. King Haku was awesome. King Owen was awesome. King Booker was awesome.
But
Like,
that's it. I mean, those are the ones. And then, like Stone Cold Steve Austin was a horrible king of a ring. Not because he's Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he wanted nothing to do with it. Like, you can put
well,
that in the
it's
garbage
just
bag as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, it's just well, it also depends on the character too, though, right? Not every character is going to sit down and embrace the concept of being a king. That's it takes a certain kind of wrestler, takes a certain kind of character. Um, the which is why I think you do need to be selective about it. But it's if you use the King of the Ring for what it's supposed to be, and pronounce, or rather say, or make the ramifications of winning the King of the Ring really what the tournament is about versus the wearing the stupid crown and the scepter. Then now you've got people a little more invested again. Again, which is why I think the King of the Ring only really works when it's a one night tournament. The But in terms of doing something like a an Eddie Guerrero, like an Eddie Guerrero tournament, I think that'd be great for something like a SmackDown, right? In the middle of the year, post draft, realigning of the SmackDown card, right? Eddie was more closely associated with SmackDown. I think that SmackDown has a lot of people who could be in a main event slot always. That's always been the gift and the curse of SmackDown is that it just you got a lot of super talented people on SmackDown who could be champion at any second. The So you use that as something to kind of drive SmackDown when things get a little slow because for whatever reason WWE always and always has they slam the brakes on SmackDown and pour all of their energy and tension on the Raw to get Raw out of the dumps instead of just letting SmackDown soar. So yeah, I would like to see it at Eddie Guerrero tournament. Because I do think that they are not that great about honoring and recognizing the most recent generation of legends. The Outside of a couple video packages and nods here and there, and throwing people in video games, or at least under Vince did a lot more to celebrate and incorporate golden era guys, but they haven't done a great job of celebrating and incorporating attitude era of ruthless aggression era guys yet. So yeah, I think it'd be a great idea. I wouldn't get rid of King of the Ring though. I think they just need to let King of the Ring be what it needs to be, and I would just make it a special, not even a premium live event or whatever the hell we call these things, and stop doing it in Saudi Arabia, man. It's not that I don't mind the Saudi Arabia shows. It's just I don't I have a hard time getting into the girls matches because I don't want to see them dressed like Power Rangers. It's awesome that they get to go. They're doing a phenomenal job of essentially doing for the culture what Levi's, McDonald's, and MTV did for the USSR. But I just as a fan, I just want to be able to watch a women's match and have them just do what it is they got to do, and not have them be dressed up like a freaking Sentai Ranger. But I don't know, man. I don't know. They're in a weird spot, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's creative. They have a lot going on, and they do a lot right. But there are just some spots where things are missing or lacking, and if they just tweaked a few things, um, a good show could be even better. I'm not one of these delusional people out here running around going, wrestling isn't as good as it's been. I went to the supermarket and Cody was on like four different boxes for food. And SiriusXM has a dedicated 24/7 wrestling channel. The Life is good for the WWE. They're doing a lot right. They're clearly doing a lot right. It's just that in terms of presenting the product and having it be a little more entertaining, there's just some things that are lacking a little bit, and I wish that they would just kind of yeah, I wish they would just kind of put a little more energy into into resolving those weaknesses. Again, the same shit, man. The women's division is weak on both shows. The women's tag titles are pointless. You had a little bit of credit with Liv Morgan and Raquel, but that was just by virtue of Liv Morgan being an entertaining force. And both men's mid card titles are still kind of shit. Dominic, just by virtue of just being a super heel, very entertaining, but why he doesn't have a feud that's gonna make anything really super memorable for him. And what's going on with the U.S. title? Jacob Fatu is very entertaining. Find us on Solo. We're doing something with Solo, but when you think about the U.S. title, like that's Tully Blanchard's title, that's Magnum TA's title. Who in the WWE? Maybe MVP, right? Maybe MVP. Who would have been a good U.S. title there?
When the Miz is
Eddie.
a good U.S.
Oh yeah,
title,
Miz, and Miz and I just had it, but like so you
Gabler.
yeah, so you've only really had, yeah, Dolph's yeah. I don't know. Was he? Would you really consider him a great U.S. title champion, or was he just a perennial? Like, was he like they threw it on him and he just held it forever? But they never really did anything with him. The like so it's like yeah, Eddie MVP, and like two other guys are really the only guys who've had standout runs. It's time to do something with that belt to make it special. The So it's like it's just like let's just shift the energy focus a little bit, and focus on some more I guess maybe robust storytelling is kind of the way I like to see them go about it. We're telling decent stories, but it just needs to be more robust. It's I think I touched on some Toonie Town a little bit. I think part of the problem is there's so much emphasis on going viral and capitalizing on the YouTube hits and the Instagram hits that they do moments and they're great in capturing them and promoting them, but there's nothing that says the show is must see TV. Right, the shows are all being presented so that if you missed it, you can go online and get caught up real quick. But there's nothing that says, "Hey, you're crazy for missing this show." There's a lack of urgency in the presentation that I personally don't think would have ever been there if Vince was still there. But there's just a lack of urgency in the presentation that we didn't see, during the Attitude Era, during the Ruthless Aggression Era, after they got their crap together and realized that they had to be their own competition. And like so, like it's just kind of you just kind of put through. You kind of put through, and it's a shame because the W is putting out quality stuff. It's just not dynamic enough to really get you like, oh my God, I can't believe that thing happened. Aside from super cool moments like Brock flipping in the ring with the with the backhoe.
Are they? I'm trying to put it in this in a polite way. Are they a slave to the sponsors in that you can't do what we want to do? I mean, WWE is like Teen Titans Go. It's made for kids. It's made for families. You no longer will get those scumbag heels like the days of Randy Orton RKOing either Nia Jax or Stephanie McMahon or even Beth Phoenix. They're done. They are gone. You will not have Seth Rollins that go and curb stomp Lila Valkyrie because those days are gone. You won't even see guys getting beat up and almost bloody to a pulp because those days are gone. So how tough is it when it's like you look at the big heels in WWE? It's like people complain about Seth Rollins and even Gunther and John Cena. It's like, well, this is what you're getting. You can't do what you did in the '90s and early 2000s
Yeah.
because the toy companies won't let you, the video game companies won't let you, the mainstream sponsors will not let you because they want good, clean family fun. And as TNA's finding out, that's how you get TV deals. That's how you get big bucks. Good, clean family fun.
I think you can tell a story and have a heel be a scumbag, the and not necessarily have it not be something palpable for the family. I mean, it happened for years. It's just because I always go when we talk about the late '90s, early 2000s was a time that can never be duplicated, right? Like the language was out of control, the sexuality was out of control. We were kind of as a society, like it was a weird angsty teen period where people realized that they needed a little bit more than your Donna Reed Leave It to Beaver rerun. Um, there was a hard bend into doing some salacious stuff, like like you put on your TV at 12:30 at night, and there was a Girls Gone Wild commercial on with pixelated boobs. That's something that's not going to happen today. It was just a different time in the WWE road what that wave was, but that's kind of not where we are. So that's why you don't get that stuff anymore. Um, Guys like us remember because we were at the right age. We were both young enough and old enough to remember and talk about it fondly. But that's just kind of not where people are, and that's not where their audience is too. Like you got to realize, like the as we move deeper into the 2000s, what was once a father-son activity for a while shifted to a father-daughter activity, then shifted towards a father and the kids, but now it's mom driven. Now it's mom brings another mom, and they bring 8 kids to the show activity. So you have to talk to your audience a little different. The You have to make sure mom is happy and comfortable that she dragged all these kids here to do certain things. So I think the sponsors get hit a little bit where they shouldn't, because people don't really understand how the demographics of the WWE have changed. It's essentially it's an equal split male female, and when you break down who's going to these shows, it's mom filling the minivan up with a bunch of neighborhood kids, and another soccer margarita mom, and they're there watching, laughing, and yelling. And if dad goes, dad goes. If not, but if he's there, cool. It's just a different mindset. But I think if you actually put I don't think they put enough effort into the actual storytelling. Honestly, like I think the most compelling story we've got right now, and it's by virtue of what he's done outside of the ring, is the character development of Karrion Cross. The They've had very little to do with it. That's just Cross being Cross. That's him advocating and fighting for himself, and then finally just kind of doing something with it on TV. Versus wasting the last 3 years of the dude's life. The If they would just stop, and tell a slow burn show or a story where you see the interpersonal issue kind of build up between the two characters, and then let the heel do something shitty. Doesn't have to be over the top. I'm not talking like kill a guy's dog or something, but like have a heel start scumbagging the baby face every week, and and be willing to not let the baby face get his heat back right away. I think you'd start seeing and then when the babyface finally does get something that resembles comeuppance, have the heel immediately turn around and take it away from everybody. Like have him Pearl Harbor, hey, 1, 2, 3, yay, babyface wins, and then babyface immediately gets boom, Pearl Harbored and stomped out. Pearl Harbored, stomped out, and punished for winning. So now you're building up the sympathy part of it. I just they just don't seem to be really super willing to do that stuff. It's just I think it's some of it is some of it is the continued legacy of that 50/50 booking bullshit that we suffered through forever. Where where no one was allowed to look bad. But the reality of it is, someone's got to look bad every once in a blue moon, especially a baby face, because the point of cheering for the baby face is that you wanted to go get the SOB back. So again, it's just if they would just put a little more focus on telling a natural progressing story, and let people talk the way people talk.
Well,
It's
let me jump
overriding.
in. That gets me to another problem, I guess. Do they have those people? Like Gunther to me is boring. He is Dan Severn had a baby with Lance Storm, and that kid was raised in Austria. There we go. We got that guy. I mean, he's even said he hates Yankee Tonk Man. He hates characters. They're silly. They're stupid. I don't really want to do this. Seth is on the opposite side where fans are, he's dressed like, and I love Seth Rollins, but he dresses sometimes like he raided Elton John's closet.
Hmm.
He's,
He's got
singing the
Elton John.
songs. I mean, there's like the only guys I can think of who you could go, they are scumbag heels. It's either Moose or Braun Breaker. And that's because and even Jacob fought too before he turned because they look like they will go into a bar, beat the piss out of somebody, take his girlfriend, and just look at the guy and go, "Oh, you're bleeding on my shoes," and give you another beating. Everybody else just seems like we gotta be regal, we gotta be classy, we gotta be just respectable. I mean, how much does it hurt that there's not these guys like there is no Scott Steiner anymore. There is no, like
Yeah. No, no, I hear you. That there's no more rugged heel. There's no more rugged heel. Everybody's got to be a movie villain, and I think that's a big chunk of what the problem is that it's the we're at a spot now where it's time to start getting a little more realistic. And I talk to indie guys about this all the time, right? The WWE is so efficient, it's so polished. They have the best technology. So I tell guys like, hey, if you're gonna cut a quick promo and you want it to be visceral, instead of using this black magic camera, just use your freaking cell phone. Why? Because it's of a lesser quality. It's of a lesser quality, which means that it's a little more palatable to the eye. It's a little more down to earth, and as long as you're not going on some BS Timu Thanos rant, and you're talking like how people talk, it's going to resonate better. It needs to look a little dirty, and your heels need to start getting a little dirty again. You need heels who are a little dirty, who are a little more rough and tumble. I'm gonna rub some dirt in your eye, like heels like that. Yeah, like you need a jacked up bully like a Scott Steiner. You need or Rick Rude, right? Like Rick Rude. "Hey, I'm a good looking dude. I'm gonna bang your wife, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you need pricks, and not even so much major villain scumbags, but you need a prick. You need a prick who's gonna come in and be an ass, or you need someone who's like. Again, it's just like, if I don't want to mess with this dude, he's probably gonna whoop my ass if he decides to start throwing down in the bar, as opposed to the movie villains, as opposed to the Marvel movie suit and tie villains that we keep getting out of our heels now. So I do think you're right in terms of that. That is part of the storytelling problem.
well, let's go to our final chapter of WB before we have to wrap the show up. That is Evolution 2.0 is coming this in July 13th. Do we need it?
No,
Like, and I look, I love most of the women on the show. I think Jade Cargill is coming along pretty great. I think Stephanie Vaquer is going to be the next it girl. The Rhea Ripley is almost as popular, if not as popular as Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, my favorite. But you look and you go, the last time out, it was because the women weren't getting a shot. They wanted to get a shot. Now they have a shot. Now they're on par with a lot of the guys. I mean, Naomi versus Jade is one of the better feuds on SmackDown. So, what should we expect from Evolution? And is it needed, or is it one of those things where they're throwing it together and it could just be like a hot, ugly mess?
here's the thing with Evolution, right? They did it. This is something they should have done. They should have kept doing it every 2 years. Not, I don't think it should be an every year thing. Like, we get it. Women's wrestling is a vital part of the show. It's entertaining, blah blah blah. The girls have all proven themselves. The But when you do something like Evolution, it should be like it should be a mix of your current crop versus women, or showcasing women from different eras, so that everybody who was around gets a little bit of love. Right now, there's nothing interesting about the women's division. There just isn't. There just isn't. Um, the like when they did the first Evolution, you know, it was you had your horsewomen, you had your NXT horsewoman, you had the promise of Ronda Rousey and her horsewomen. You had you had old schoolers who were really good but didn't get their due coming back. Like, honestly, I think the best thing that they could have that could happen to this is that they announce Gail Kim. I don't think that'll happen, but they should announce that Gail Kim's on this show, because at least now anybody who's been watching for a while, WWE people know who Gail Kim is. They love Gail Kim. They know Gail never got her due. If you're a TNA guy, Gail Kim is your goddess. She tore it up. She became the foundation of of the knockouts division. But right now, there's nothing exciting about this. I love when Trish Stratus pops up on TV. I think Trish Stratus is one of the greatest of all time. But Trish Stratus has had a bunch of storylines over the last 2.5 years, so it's not as exciting. It's not like she's been gone. She's come back. They haven't announced Lita, and granted, fine. The last time we saw Lita wrestle, we probably don't want to see Lita wrestle, but it'd be nice to see Lita appear. Um, why don't we ever do anything with Medusa? We put Bull Nakano in last year. Why we do anything with Bull? The it's like we're doing a woman's pay per view for the sake of doing a woman's pay per view, but why are we doing a woman's pay per view if no one's really clamoring for the woman's pay per view? So it's just another thing to throw out there. And yeah, sure, fine. At the end of the day, are you probably doing to stick it up Tony Khan's ass? Sure, probably, because you're gonna go. Our women are gonna outdraw your shitty little shindy. Fine, I get it. But if you're gonna do the show, at least you got to put some meat on the bone. And right now, there's no meat on this bone. This is just a boring women's pay per view. Not paying off any stories because there is nothing interesting happening with the women's division. NXT women are much more entertaining than whatever it is they're going to be putting out here. So if you were going to do this, then it should have been NXT Evolution.
So here's the matches as of today. It's Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You have Io
Mhm.
Sky Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship.
Mhm.
Again, you've got JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. A
Mhm.
battle royal for a Women's World Championship match, Clash at Paris. And
Mhm.
then finally, the Fatal Four-Way Tag Team between Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Yep, they just threw the titles on Roxanne. Yep, screw this. Is Nobody cares about their tag team division. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Yeah, they now are a team, and two more teams will be decided later on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
great. Yeah, dude, listen, I get it. Alexa, listen, Charlotte Flair, okay, whatever. Raquel, that was a logical choice. Fine, cool, whatever. You know, they really had no choice in terms of the way they've set up the Judgment Day storyline. So that fine, something that makes sense. But you don't know who the other two teams are? Why? Why?
it's gonna be one
This
from Raw and one from NXT.
right.
Just
So
throw
I
them
was
in
like,
there.
well, like there isn't enough going on to women right now that you have the ability to make any surprises unless it was a female, two female legends. But now you're in this weird spot where what two female legends are around who are still young enough and were good enough that you would give a shit if you did it. Or it's just hey, or do we do something cool like we bring back the Iconics who never should have been split up and dumped? Like you got to give me something. You got to give me something. You got to again, like I said, you got to throw some meat on the bone. There is no meat on this bone. There's nothing remotely entertaining. There's nothing. Oh, I shouldn't say there's something entertaining about the show. The show it's booked fine, but there's nothing special about this show. And when you're doing an all women's pay per view, there should be something kind of special about it. Is kind of where I want to go. Like again, we got a partnership with TNA. Then why are we using one or two TNA girls, or at least give me a couple TNA legends, right? Like what the hell's Madison Rain doing right now? Oh no, she's trapped in the
Oh,
AEW,
but
right?
no, you could have had the inspiration and the elegance brand in there. You could have,
Yeah.
and I look. I guess it's my problem is, oh, we're getting Sky Ray Ripley again. God damn, this is like
But exactly though,
yeah.
you're 100% right. Why am I watching this match again? I just saw this at WrestleMania. I don't have any interest in it. Why can't you find someone for Io to wrestle? That's where I'm annoyed with this. The fine you doing a stupid tag match, but we've been watching Rhea and Raquel kick the shit out of each other. Why isn't the blow off happening on this pay per view? You know what I mean? Like it's like we're wasting opportunities. Really, like the match. Really, if you wanted to do something into Io Sky, the match should have been Stephanie Vac here and Io Sky. Give us something that hasn't happened enough that it's still fresh and you're seeing on a pay per view for the first time. So they've got carte blanche to kind of tear it up, as opposed to, okay, guys, you got to hit your not there's a difference between getting your shit in and hitting your spots. The Yeah, so the pros ought to hit their spots on TV because that's what TV is you got X amount of time, you got to hit your spots in so that people know what you do, and then you got to go home. Pay per view, you can tear it up. So EO and Vacuum have had their go get your spots in thing. Well, now give them the ability to be on pay per view and let them tear it the hell up. I am tired. I like Rhea Ripley, but I'm tired of seeing Rhea Ripley get fucking title shots. She's past that point. She doesn't need it. Rhea Ripley should be engrossed in, and this is where they continually go wrong with the women's division. Um, they keep throwing belts as a substitute for finding out how to tell compelling interpersonal stories. Like you got to start treating the women like the men. Let these chicks have beef. Well, first of all, everybody on the planet knows you can't have a locker room full of women and not have some drama somewhere. The
No, Kevin, they all
so
get along. They're all holding hands and singing "Kumbaya." They
that's
love
true.
everybody. Everybody loves EO. Everybody loves Ray. I mean, I get it. It's just
Yeah, I get that. That new wrestler. Everybody's got to be your friend. That sports. That bullshit sports mentality. Where everybody's friends now. I'm sorry, dude. I'm old school. I like my Larry versus Magic. I like Yankees versus Red Sox, where you could be in Yankee Stadium and someone had a Red Sox hat on, and within 3 minutes of seeing that dumb hat, the shit was on fire 5 minutes later. Like that's what people really want, not this kumbaya bullshit. So this is what people want. This is what people want in the women's division. Sure, were we supposed to get one of those matches with Liv versus Nikki? I got it, but it's wrestling. Shit happens. You mean to tell me you couldn't find another heel to throw at Nikki? That means you're not trying that fucking hard. Like they're just not. They have more women on that fucking roster than any wrestling company in the history of wrestling companies. You couldn't have found one person to throw at Nikki. They might not have been over, but guess what? 2 segments later, now you've got a viable competitor. We still the show's like still another week and a couple weeks away, right? Like you mean to tell me that they couldn't find a way to put together a 4 week program so that by the time you rolled into this dumb fucking pay per view, that there would have been a little steam behind it? If you can't do that, you're not doing your job as a fucking booker. And this is where I get pissed off with the WWE sometimes. I can't even pretend to want to have this conversation about AEW. Those fucking retards don't know what the fuck they're doing, so there's no point even talking about them. But when you look at the WWE, they are so great at doing certain things, but when it comes to certain basics, it's like fuck it, we're on autopilot. Like and they don't choose to tackle the shit that needs to get tackled. This Nikki thing is super irritating because there should have been someone thrown right into that slot because yes, for all intents and purposes, in the total diva era, right, in the total Bella's era, Nikki is a draw. So you needed to be treating Nikki like she's a draw because she was an anchor for this stupid pay per view. They fucking half ass it so often. Like that's why it's so hard to get excited about this. It's just been half assed. This entire fucking thing is just half assed.
wow. I'm almost oh, we don't want to AEW action a little bit tomorrow, but yeah, I'm afraid there because like you could have challenged Joey Chestnut, just channel that anger, Kevin, and just pretend every hot dog was like in the WWE record. All right, screw my finger. I'm just gonna, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Is that also the problem for WWE though? Is that Rhea Ripley can't be a villain because the fans love her too much.
Mm-hmm.
Sky really, she's limited because once again, that bitch can't cut a promo.
Mm-hmm. But they love
And
her. But they love her.
I mean,
But
that's the problem. Is it also the audience where it's like, no, we can't. We don't. If we love this person because we respect them, we can't boo them. We respect them. How much does that hurt the women's division? Where in a perfect world, you could turn Ray Ripley, but if you do that, they will still cheer her. I mean, she could literally murder a baby
yeah,
Seth,
no.
and people will still cheer her.
Well, it's listen. At some point in time, you just got to kind of lean into it, right? Like Rhea is just at a point where listen, at the end of the day, muscle mommies are a thing. So you've got the people who like the muscle mommies. You got the girls who dig the fact that Rhea doesn't look like all the other girls. You got the goth chicks who love Rhea. You got the people who love the thirst traps. Rhea's just in a different stratosphere. It's just where we are culturally, right? So she's over as shit. That means that you've got to make villains to throw at someone like her. Rio is over as shit. She's got the cute little Japanese girl thing going for her, the plucky little underdog shit. You've got to invent people to throw at her. Like this, dude. It's like at the end, it's shit's pretty. I get it. The shit's pretty simple. Is what the problem is, and there's overcomplicating it. Um, Look at Hogan, right? Why did the Heenan family exist? Why did the Intercontinental title? Why does the Intercontinental title even exist? Right? They were constantly bringing in heels to fight Hogan. The heel attacks Hogan. The shit goes on for 6 weeks. Blow off match happens. They go back down the card. So like yes, this is the kind of storytelling that
But
we
I think
need.
it was easier that era because it was all right. You cheer this guy, you boo this guy. We don't care about work rate. He's just a bad guy.
Mhm.
And little
But
kids can understand that.
yeah, but
I
but
mean,
it's the casual fan. And like when I talk about stuff, I mean like the people who spend money, like the people who spend money. Casual fans don't give two shits about work rate. They don't. You're either a good wrestler, you either suck at what you do or you don't. They're not sitting down there judging he's got spectacular timing and his ring positioning is unmatched. Motherfucker, just be in the middle like a professional and do what you got to do. The
like, all right, here's a better example. Who could you turn right now that fans would turn on that WB acceptable? Like you could argue Bianca Belair should go back to being a villain like she was in NXT. She knows how to do it. She's the perfect villain, but you can't because
She makes too much money as a babyface.
and little girls love her. She is
Mm-hmm.
John Cena for the WWE women's division. Like she does all the mainstream appearances. She's doing the Make a Wish.
Mm-hmm.
Little girls will walk up and they'll go ah. So you
So,
can't turn her, and you can't turn Jade, and you can't. All of a sudden you're looking going crap. Outside of Naomi, there's nobody else because all these little girls love them because they're their heroes. They are what WNBA players want to be but can't be.
mm-hmm. Well, they had the same problem with Becky, and for some reason they've been hell bent on trying to bury her. Um, there are certain people who should always be. Bailey is a fucking heel, unless you're gonna turn her back into the semi-retarded girl with the ponytail who hugged everybody. Bailey's a heel. Bailey is languishing right now because we insist on wanting to make we're insisting on to make her a fucking baby face or a tweener. Same thing with Bird Girl. Bird Girl is not nearly charismatic enough to be a baby face. Just let her be a fucking heel until she gets her until she can kind of find herself. But this is what like, so it's this they have so many girls that these girls don't make it to TV often. So they have a lot of freedom in just throwing people at you. You're going to be on TV for the next 6 weeks. If you can get yourself over and be convincing, guess what? Maybe you'll get another 6 weeks. And just keep rotating them through. All right, WWE knows how to turn someone into a viable threat when they need someone to be a viable threat. They're just choosing not to. And it's especially pervasive with women. Case in point, Shotzi, right? Shotzi should have been a major heel for them, or she should have been a major babyface after she had to cut her fucking hair for her sister. And what do we do? Like, we kind of told the story, and then they didn't do shit with her for years. The right. They re-signed Chelsea. Is Chelsea hurt or something? Is that why she hasn't? It's like listen, they've got enough ammo. They've got enough ammo that they can fire off salvo and it's not gonna be worrisome. Or hey, you've got this great partnership with this other promotion that you're literally keeping that you've literally helped breathe new life into. Why don't you borrow a couple of their girls? Which is really at the end of the day why we starting to develop these partnerships is because you have so much control over the market share you've gobbled up so much of the performer equity that you now have to start going outside to expand your storytelling capabilities because you waste a lot of people's time. They have options. They just choose not to use them, or for some bizarre reason are unable to figure out how to use them. And it's the simplest shit that there is. It's really simple, dude. I get it's as simple as I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna Pearl Harbor you. I'm gonna lay your ass out. The next week I cut a promo about why I'm doing this and why I'm a big piece of shit now. Or that, hey, I gotta lay you out so that I can get back on TV, and I don't care what I gotta do. This is about me. You've had your chance to shine. Sorry about your damn luck. The and do it again and do the promo again and then Pearl Harbor again, and now it's the chase. But the baby face looks like it's gonna get comeuppance, and then some shit went down and the heel slipped away. And the next week, hey, the baby face is out loaded for bear, boom, heel gets him again. And now you finally, it's the week before, you do something where they square up and the security comes in so they don't quite get their hands in each other, and the boom, it's the fucking pay-per-view, and now they can go beat shit of each other. Babyface triumphant, the heel goes away again. Bring out the next body. You don't. It's honestly, it's just that simple. It's a rinse, lather, repeat thing. The only thing that needs to kind of change is what exactly is the motivation this time, and then if you put a little space in between it, and you bring one of the more popular ones back for round two, and oh well, I lost you, and shit got worse for me, and now I hate you even more, so now we're gonna do it again. The But they just don't. It's the same six fucking chicks doing the same shit week after fucking week after fucking week after fucking week, to the point that you don't even know what the storylines are, because I think I've seen this match 400 fucking times. I don't know. And then when, instead of seeing it 401 times, everybody just disappears off of TV. And now someone gets hurt, like Bianca's hurt. Now they don't know what the hell to do. It's in fucking insane. Why is Alexa Bliss teaming with Charlotte? Why? Who cares? And it's a shame because Alexa Bliss was one of the biggest heels they had. So it's like it's if you're not going to take the time to give me the why, then why the fuck are you doing it? What is the point? If you're not going to take the time to give me a nice foundation, and create an environment where, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, right, it comes down to two things with wrestling, right? It's the winner's share of the purse, right, at the pay window, or it's an interpersonal issue. So you've got two things here that's just universal. I don't People don't really need a reason to attack each other. It's built into the fucking cake. So just tell the goddamn story. I'm sorry. The more we talk about the paper, the more irritated I am that there's no actual momentum behind it, and this is all just really fucking dumb.
Well, we gotta wrap this up because we'll get ready for part two of the next tomorrow on July 4th. That folks, that's right. But in the meantime, we gotta let him go so he can get ready. He can still he's the reason he's really upset people. He was ready to kick Joey Chestnut's ass. He was gonna show up at Coney Island, eat 40 hot dogs, drink a pitcher of beer, look at him, go, hey, this is what real men look like. They're bitch boy. But unfortunately, he can't, because I said can't get rid of a girl's figure. I give you, it's Kevin Apollo. Kevin, once again, always an honor, pleasure having you on the show. We'll come back tomorrow, only on Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube Rumble channel.